What's up, y'all? First of all, I'd like to give a tip of the hat to my man Meek for the work that he's doing with this prison reform. I think it's a big thing. He's teaming up with Mike Rubin, co-owner of the Sixers, and they're trying to get 1 million people out of jail within the next 5 years, but equally keep the streets safe. This all started. Meek apparently has known uh, Mike for a long time. Met him at a Sixers game. So he actually went through the trials and tribulations Meek went through, and he saw firsthand the bullshit that a lot of people have to go through. He saw the people going to jail for bullshit. He saw the judges with their um, crazy draconian sentences. Um, Meek apparently had been on parole or probation, excuse me, for pointing a gun at a police officer when he was 19. Now, he also mentioned this in an interview recently that pointing a gun at a police officer would be suicide, but he was penalized for this and was sent to prison for 2 to 3 years and did his time for it. And that's what he's currently on probation for today. Now, during that time, he hadn't been back to prison. And, well, until he had that little popping a wheelie in New York and the breaking the fight up at the airport. Those were the only two incidents that he was involved in since the 19-year-old incident for allegedly pointing a gun at a police officer, which the officer signed an affidavit saying that he lied and that he had never pointed the gun at him. And this officer is also on a list of cops that's so dirty that he's not allowed to testify, and he was fired from the police force. So he's really like a piece of shit. Um, yeah, he signed an affidavit saying that he never did it. So why is this guy still even on parole at 31 or probation? Excuse me. I keep saying parole because most of the people that I know are on parole. Um, yeah. So for him to be on probation still at 31 is ridiculous. The the system um, they go to talk about in the interview, like how the system is broken, how 6.7 million people in the criminal justice system today in America, how the rate of incarceration is 5 times the rest of the world, how 4.5 million people are on probation and parole today. And he raised a good point too, saying that Meek has a celebrity status. He had high powered friends helping him, but 99% of those 6.7 million people don't. So, like, and when you talk about the disparities between even races, because you talk about Meek has money, but he's still a black young man, and you take a case like um, Robert Richards IV, who is a DuPont relative who got caught molesting his own daughter. Uh, this was about 2014, I believe. And he pleaded guilty to raping his own 3-year-old daughter, but was never put behind bars because the judge said that he would not fare well in prison. That's right, Robert H. Richards IV, scion of the family that built the chemical empire DuPont and kin to the co-founders of the prestigious law firm Richards, Layton, and Finger, was given 8 years probation in order to seek treatment after being convicted of fourth-degree rape in 2008. Officials managed to keep this case hush-hush really in the media, and you didn't really hear too much of it. But, since it was a high-profile guy, rich guy, they didn't really want to put it out there that the judge did not give this guy any jail time. Um, he's about 51 years old now. His daughter should be about 16, and uh, yeah, he raped her several times beginning in 2005. She was 3, and then when she was 5, she told her grandmother, and she said that he told her it was their little secret, but she didn't want him touching her anymore. And his wife at that time had him arrested, and now she's trying to sue him in court. She's seeking damages for raping their kid. Yeah, so like you see the bullshit, like you see the disparities, and like a lot of people are going back to jail for what they call technical violations, and technical violations are just anything. It's not catching a charge because I think I think Meek misspoke in the interview because he said a technical violation is catching a new charge when it's not a new charge. It's actually just doing something like missing an appointment or change of address or getting high or having a dirty urine, something like that. But like the system is just crazy. Like I know people who've been back for years. I went back for 2 years for my first DUI ever. Um, you know, it's just you see so much of it. You see so many people being railroaded, and it's just like it's just like it's the norm, especially in places like Pennsylvania. And by the way, that case with the DuPont heir that raped his daughter, that was in Delaware, which is right across the border from Pennsylvania. And you see, like, you can see the blatant racism in the criminal justice system. You can see if you walk in any prison in America, the majority of the people are black and brown. So that's all you're gonna see in prison nowadays. Well, actually, lately they've been getting better at locking white folks up. It's becoming more of a class thing than a race thing. So when them petitions start coming around and you need to vote on something or whatever, make sure you go out and support Meek Mill because I applaud him. This is an area that we really need work in. So make sure that you got his back like he got ours. Make sure you support 5stargenerals.myshopify.com as well. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.